one way that I think I found out that artists and scientists work similarly is that we try things. We sort of throw things at the wall. I think that's a good way of putting it. I'm Alyson Shotz. I'm the Sterling Visiting Scholar for 2012. I'm an artist.
Our department has endowed funds, the Sterling funds, that is used to bring scholars for a week to the department. And about 4 years ago, we discussed the possibility of trying to stretch our boundaries and bring scholars and experts in fields outside our own. The idea was that when we are moved away from our own comfort zone, it's an opportunity to try to think about the old problems in a new way.
On behalf of the Department of Chemical and Systems Biology, it is my pleasure to present our Sterling Visiting Professor for 2012, Alyson Shotz.
I had a project planned for this residency that was kind of strange. I had thought about mixing science and art and what would be the best way to do that, and what came to mind was a project where we would experiment with glass and then use those experiments to take photos under the microscope. And those experiments in glass were also kind of weird, even for the glass world. Adding food to glass and making it explode and stretching it and stressing it in various ways. And that whole process is a scientific process unto itself. It's just experimentation, basically. And part of it becomes art. Each time you do any of those things, it's a surprise. There's really, even if we do the same experiment twice, it's different each time. But I definitely was thinking about this in terms of giving the students something new to experience and a different way of working and possibly a different way of thinking, briefly anyway, and doing something fun, thinking about the commonalities between science and art, if there are, which I think there are, and differences.
There's actually a lot of crosstalk, and I think a lot of cool perspectives that you can get as a scientist from, just spending a day with an artist and experimenting with them and trying new things that, they don't really know what's going to happen, and that's a whole lot like what you do in the lab, you come up with a new idea or strategy or plan and give that a try and see what occurs. I just think it gives you a new perspective, and I think that's really great.
All scientists need that creative aspect. It's part of the innovation process. It's part of where these accidental discoveries happen, is because of the creativity.
I had done a project wherein we pulled these tubes, and I designed this structure to pull a tube up with. And after that project, which was very ephemeral and really beautiful in its ephemerality, I still always felt like I wanted to keep it in some way. But you could never keep it, it always explodes. So now I've taken some of the samples that we made, and I've taken those pieces of glass, and I'm putting them under the microscope to see what they look like. So I'll print those photographs out, and that'll become part of the exhibition. I think a lot of artists work in an experimental way. Will this lead anywhere? Is there anything here that we can take and bring it somewhere else? Sometimes you might have a preconceived idea, and sometimes that idea really works. But sometimes that idea, many times and most times, that idea does not work. But then there's some accident or mistake that leads you in another direction, and that's probably the direction to take.
I think where a lot of, great artistry and great science happens is when you're doing things that you don't really know the outcome at all. No one's really tried it before, and I think going to that experience today will just help me open up in lab and not be afraid to sort of try a new method or experiment. I'm not really sure how that's really going to go.
The preceding program is copyrighted by the Board of Trustees of the Leland Stanford Junior University. Please visit us at med.stanford.edu.